Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello, introduce my name, Vivi Agustina. I will tell about the legend of the Jangoi Island. Okay, let's go to the story. Check it out. The legend of the Jangoi Island, Riau Island. Once upon a time there was a famous commander of Riau. Commander Kawal was his name. Not only was smart and brave, the commander-in-chief Kawal was also famous for his magic. Because of the courage, intelligence, and supernatural power of the commander-in-chief, the state of Riau was always safe from threats and those who intended to attack or dominate. One day, several ships came to the port of Riau. The ships evidently were pirates which were directly led by Si Jangoi. Si Jangoi was a notorious pirate whose name was pirates took Laos, Cambodia, Sarawak, Brunei, and Sumatra. Once the pirate ship docked at the port, Jangoi was evidently met by several Riau state Hulu Balang. The leader of Hulu Balang reported Jangoi arrival to the commander Kawal. Reviving the report, Commander Kawal intended to hold negotiations. No matter how powerful and brave he was, Commander Kawal preferred to pursue peace rather than war. He did not want to sacrifice any life because of a war. A war would only be begun if the negotiation had been closed or disputes could not be resolved. Commander Kawal came alone to the ship of Si Jangoi without any curse and weapons. He walked calmly aboard Jangoi's ship. Commander Kawal arrival surprises Si Jangoi. Incredibly surprised when he found out the commander came alone to him. According to him, only brave people with high ability would dare to do it. In any case, he was amazed by the courage of the commander-in-chief. He should have paid homage to the commander. Instead, he took his vile plans to harm the commander. Jangoi deciphered the commander-in-chief and invited him to sit down. In honor of the commander, Si Jangoi servers better leaves a conflict with white life, fast and raged. Please, sir, said Si Jangoi. At a glance, Commander Kawal learned that the battle leaf servers were not ordinary battle leafers, but nettle leafers. Nettle leafers were indeed a type of battle leaves, but very poisonous. Commander Kawal smiled and refused to act thus. Jangoi was not offended by Commander Kawal's refusal. If someone did not a battle, of course he is begging. Fever battles, he thought. Jangoi the servers begging in the battle box continuing his advantage. He had previously flanched Poinsenau's nails in the back. Commander Cowell smiled. Without hesitation, he took the service and immediately at it. As her cowards, Commander Cowell sighed. "Let's eat the bag together, Mr. Jangoi." Si Jangor was shocked when the commander invited him to eat toast together. Suddenly, fear crept into his head. The commander-in-chief cowled at the poisonous nails in which, even though the poison he put was very strong, it took only seconds after being exposed to the poison should a man be killed, let alone eat it. But the poison had no effect towards the commander. Commander was still alive and kept chewing the poisonous nails. Jangoi was confused. His nervousness became worse when he saw the commander broke the backing with his finger. All of that soared up high the supernatural power of him, considering that those were poisonous nails. He could imagine if the commander's fingers would break every bone in his body. For God, yes, sir. Jangoi suddenly sighed and bent the knees. We admit defeat. Jangoi repeated his intention to attack and outclass Riau. He had see one's eyes. How strong and powerful the commander was. He could definitely be defeated if he fought aside the commander. A foul! Si Jangoi immediately ordered all his men to leave the anchor and leave the port of Riau. Before the ship set sail, the Jangoi threw the scraps into the sea while moving. If the Beckett sinks, I won't come to this planch again. The Beckett thrown by Si Jangoi sank and never reversed. The land of Riau returned to be normal, serene, and peaceful. No more pirates attempted to attack or control Riau. News of the courage and supernatural power of the commander-in-chief had spread everywhere. One day, the people of Riau were shocked by the sudden death of the commander Kawal. Sadness was immediately spread in Riau because of the death of the best commander that they ever had. The people wept over the departure of the famous commander who was brave, powerful, and loved fish. Commander Kawal did was heard by Si Jangoi. His intention to attack and conquer Riau again ignited and continued to flare up. There was no longer a white-haired verge off. It made him immediately order all his men to sail to Riau. "We attack and outcover Riau," he shouted excitedly. The ship of Si Jangoi arrived in the territorial sea where he had vowed not to come back to Riau in the bags he turned into the sea did not rise. The sea was locked between Penyengat Island and Keriting Bay. At the time Jangoi was on the bridge. Si Jangoi suddenly felt the guard siege. The notorious pirate leader was in severe pain. The physician, who was later brought to cure his illness, was unable to do much. He was unable to cure Si Jangoi illness. Jangoi believed that the pain he experienced was because he had broken his vow. The deeply regretted his agitation. However, it was too late. He felt his end was near, so he urged all of his men to bury his body in that flash if he did. Not long after giving the message, Si Jangoi breathed his last. As for his last message, Si Jangoi's body was thrust into the sea where he had vowed, between Penyengat Island and Keriting Bay. A miracle happened after Si Jangoi corpse sank to the bottom of the sea. Suddenly, an island appeared in the flash. The island was then named after the pirate leader, Jangoi Island or Pulau Paku.